the timeline with 10. Knocked away. Dudley Bradley. Dudley Bradley for the stop. 70-68. 3, 2, 1. Matthews off balance, off the glass. Dudley Bradley's defense did it. And ready on his second attempt. That one is no good. They battle for it. Loose ball. Recovered Marvin. He scores. Pushes into Hubert Davis. 8 seconds. Davis trying to get free. Over to Fox. Fox, baseline. Up for the shot. Good. Off the glass. Oklahoma calls timeout. But the game is over. The game is over. Carolina has upset number 1 Oklahoma.
Turns it over. Kenny Williams with the steal. Gets it to Barry. 17 seconds to go. Barry, Duke not fouling. Gets it to Johnson. To Pinson for the highlight.
Inbounds goes deep on the right sideline to May.
Holy smokes, a long three!
Are you kidding me?
Holy cow! Pinson gets all the way to the rim, and what a way to pick up his first field goal of the season by throwing down the tomahawk.
With 20 seconds left to play, goes back to Michael Jordan, jumper from out on the left, good! 63-62, 13, 12, 11, Georgetown with one timeout. Fred Brown looking, way to Worthy! Worthy 5! The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship!
Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. Weber front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Brown gets it into Williams. Here comes Williams front court. Williams on the drive. Gets it back out to head. Long outside shot. Short rebounded. May. It's over. Carolina has won the national championship. How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
That's it! Make room for 2017. The Tar Heels are the national daggum champions.
This is the Roy's Boys Podcast with your host, Joshua Marlowe.
Hey everybody, welcome into an edition of our Roy's Boys Podcast powered by Carolina Electrical Services. Today we've got voice of the Tar Heels, Jones Angell, on with us to preview the upcoming Carolina basketball season, which is now less than 3 weeks away. Jones, how's it going today, man?
Josh, we're doing great. Really looking forward to the season, man. It's hard to believe that it's snuck up on us this way. And with football chugging along, it's having a fun year on that side of things so far. It's easy to forget that basketball's so close, but looking forward to seeing the guys. And, man, they jump right into it with Notre Dame in game 1. And, really difficult schedule early in the season. The trip to the Bahamas, the trip to Gonzaga, game against Ohio State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. So plenty of opportunities for the Tar Heels to get better early in the season for sure.
Yeah, this non-conference slate is probably as tough as it's ever been, at least for my time following Carolina basketball. Last week, the ACC Media Days took place in Charlotte, and the media picked Carolina to finish second in the ACC. This is, of course, we're losing 4 starters from last year. Did that come to you as a mild surprise what the media thinks of this year's team?
Well, I think always it's safer to vote for Carolina or Duke or somebody like that when you're making those preseason prognostications, because those are the teams that are normally pretty good. I don't think on paper right this second that Carolina is the second best team in the ACC. Certainly Louisville has a lot returning. I think that the Cardinals are going to be really good. Duke has tons of talent like it normally does, so they'll be good. Virginia's the defending national champions, for goodness sakes, and I know they lost the core pieces of that title, but still a team that has now proven that it knows how to win at the highest level. And so, there'll be plenty of excellent teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference, as there are every single year. And so for Carolina, I don't know if they're particularly worried about where they're chosen at this moment. They're just worried about getting better. And something, Joshua, that I think is really impressive about Roy Williams, and it doesn't get talked about a ton, but it's how his teams get better throughout the year. And I feel like that's a pretty consistent theme under Coach Williams, is that his teams, when you get to late February, early March, they're traditionally playing their best basketball. They're getting pretty good at that point. And so Carolina fully expects to be in the conversation and to be in the mix in the ACC, as it normally is. But right now, do I think Carolina is the second best team in the league at this moment? Maybe not. They lost their top 5 scorers from a year ago. That's not easy to recover from. So a lot of unknowns about this team, a lot of growth growth potential with this team, and we'll have to see how it all plays out over the next several months.
Well, a lot of success of this year's team depends on Cole Anthony, and he's gotten a lot of preseason hype and got some preseason awards from various media days. What are realistic expectations for the freshman, and does the success that Kobe White had last year put more pressure on Cole Anthony to produce?
Well, I think, number one, what kind of expectation? Cole Anthony is really, really good. There are no doubts in watching him practice and watching him work out and watching him interact with his teammates, just all those things. He is an extraordinarily talented and an extraordinarily driven basketball player, and so all those things make you pretty excited for what he may be able to achieve. He's obviously has the pedigree with his dad being Greg, and he's been around the game, and he is a terrific player. He is going to play at the next level, and he is going to have success if he stays healthy this season. He's just too good to expect anything else. As far as is there pressure there? I think only in the sense that Roy Williams asked his point guards to do a lot. I mean, that's an incredibly important position in basketball in total, as we all know, but I think particularly with how Carolina likes to play. Roy Williams really trusts his lead guards to handle the basketball, to get the team where it needs to be, to distribute the ball, to score himself. I mean, he puts a lot of pressure and responsibility on those guys, and that's why I think you've seen such unbelievably talented and accomplished players at that spot, because Roy Williams knows how important it is. That's why guys like Raymond Felton and Ty Lawson and Kendall Marshall and Marcus Page and Joel Berry and Kobe White, I mean, we're talking some big names in the last 20 years or so of Carolina basketball since Coach Williams has been here. Those are some of the best players that Carolina's had, because they know they have to have a really high-level player at that spot. And Cole Anthony falls right into that conversation. He is an extraordinarily talented kid and somebody that the Tar Heels are looking for to be a big part of their success this year.
At Roy Williams' media availability 2 weeks ago, he didn't commit to playing two big men. And we've seen in years past where we played small with Cam Johnson and Luke May. We were comfortable with that. Is there a possibility we could see Carolina play small this year, even though we haven't seen a Justin Pierce or a Christian Kelling in the ACC?
Well, I think a lot of it's just going to depend on the matchup, and a lot of it's going to depend on who steps up and proves that they deserve that playing time. And, something Roy Williams says all the time is that he's not the one who determines who gets the most playing time. It's the players themselves, because they're going to earn the right to have that time on the court. And so what I do think you have with Carolina this year is you do have the flexibility to have some different looks as far as the personnel on the court. At this moment, I think it's safe to say that Garrison Brooks is going to play a heavy role in what the Tar Heels are doing. Garrison's a veteran player. He's somebody who's played a lot at a high level in big games. He has continued to improve in a lot of different ways, and he's very reliable. He's somebody that Roy Williams trusts on the court to do what he's supposed to do. Plus, he's grown his game. I think he's really worked on facing up and hitting that 12 to 15-foot jump shot. That is so important for that position now, to be able to spread the floor some. Of course, you need him down there doing the dirty work and getting down on the block and rebounding, but you also need to be able to face up. And then you've got Armando Bacot, who is a really big body, terrific in the post, really soft touch around the rim, a good rebounder. So you have the opportunity to have two bigs in there and to really play at a high level, because I think they're both high-level ACC players. Obviously, Garrison has proven that more, but I think you're going to see that from Armando Bacot as well. Then I think the question becomes, who is your third big if you're Carolina? Is that Justin Pierce? Because if it's Justin Pierce, then you're probably more leaning towards that smaller ball that you referenced in the question. If that is somebody like Sterling Manley, who's still yet to be healthy for Carolina, if that's somebody like like Walker Miller or Brandon Huffman. Who is that next big for the Tar Heels, I think, is going to determine when they do make the change, what direction they go. But Joshua, I think they have the opportunity to at least have several different looks and the flexibility to have several different looks in that front court. And a lot of that has to do with Pierce and how successful he can be and how he can help the Tar Heels when he's out on the floor.
You mentioned Garrison Brooks, and he's grown both as a player and a leader off the floor. I was just curious on your opinion of the growth of his development.
Yeah, I think on the court, it's all been pretty obvious to see. And I will say this, one thing about Garrison, he's been good at what he knows he's good at, which is rebounding and defense. And he is frequently in the conversation in defensive player of the game that's chosen by the coaches on a grading system. There's no opinion that's put into it. It's all on a graded system of the tape after the game. And he's always in that mix because he's so sound in what he does defensively. He knows where he's supposed to be. He does the fundamental things correctly. And he does a good job in that aspect. Always been a good rebounder, particularly I feel like on the defensive side. I think Garrison's a good rebounder, does a nice job. So he's always been pretty good at that, even from his first year. I think he's continued to improve, as you would expect, as he's played more and become more mature. But that's stuff that he's always been pretty good at. Where I think Carolina needs him to take that next step is they do need him to be an offensive option. Now, they don't need Garrison Brooks. They don't need him to score 20 points a game. They'd love for him to do it if he wants to, but I don't think they need him to. But they do need him to be an 8 to 12 point a night kind of force and somebody that can get you some offensive rebounds and some putbacks, somebody that's going to shoot 72% from the free throw line so that you're getting your points there more often than not when he gets fouled and goes to the stripe. And so that's the next step for him, I think, is to not only get those type of points but have a little bit more of a polished offensive game. So we'll see. I think he's taken those really positive steps. One thing that you said that I have been surprised by is how much more vocal Garrison Brooks has become as a teammate and as a leader, because he's always been a pretty quiet person. I don't think he has necessarily this big, loud personality or somebody that is the first one to talk until you get to know him. And then it's funny because when you get to know him, he's a pretty funny guy and pretty chatty guy and really has a quick wit about him, but doesn't necessarily show that a lot. But just in going to a couple practices and seeing him in this preseason, it just seems like he's more comfortable in his own skin in a public way. And some of that just comes with age. I mean, he's a junior now. He knows what's it like to be a Carolina basketball player, to have that spotlight on you. And so I think he's a little more comfortable in just being himself. And so I have seen that come out some and just watching him, and I'll be interested to see if other people see that as well when the Tar Heels start getting out in the public eye a little bit more here in the coming weeks.
One of the things this team has missed the last couple of years has been a rim protector. Is there anyone on the team that you think is going to be able to step up and get more block shots? I think Luke May led the team last year with only 20. That's a very low number of blocks to lead the team. Is it Garrison Brooks? Is it Armando Bacot? Who's going to step up for Carolina in that role?
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's something that Roy Williams has mentioned the last couple seasons, that you really do. It changes your defense. When you don't have that rim protector, you can't quite be as aggressive as you want to be out on the perimeter because you'll need some help sometimes. Sometimes if you're being aggressive, you're going to have your guy go by you, but you need to have the help back there that can erase some of those drives and can be a force around the rim. Brandon Huffman's a really good shot blocker if he's in the game, but I mean, he has to prove that he has that capability of playing heavier minutes. I also think Armando Bacot is going to be somebody who can fill that role for the Tar Heels, and just due to his physical size. I mean, Armando's a big kid. He's 6'10", 6'11". He's really transformed his body in that now that size is a little bit. It's a better heaviness, if you will. So he's got some girth to him, but it's in a good way. He takes up some space. He's a strong young guy, and is in as good a condition now as he's ever been. So he's got some long arms. He can protect that rim. Obviously, he's still learning. Hasn't even played a college game yet, so you have to wait and see how he reacts when the lights are on. But he has the physical capability, the long arms, the big body, to be somebody I think that can really help the Tar Heels in that regard.
Two more things, and I'll get you out of here. we talked over the summer about what player needed to take the biggest step over the summer to help Carolina this year. You told me it was going to be Leaky Black. How important is he going to be to this year's team success?
I'm glad I said that then, because I still think that's the answer now. And it's because Leaky is just so versatile. He can do so many different things. And on a team that I think right now with Carolina, that what you do have is a lack of experienced talent. I